So hey guys, and welcome to the 2016 Q&A. Now for today I have a lot of questions ready, so this one's probably gonna be pretty long, so let's jump right to it. Question number 1. Have you played WoW Legion this year? Yes, I did. I actually played it on 2 separate occasions. The first time around, I got my druid up to level 109, and I could not push myself to level him up to 110. I don't know what happened. Maybe just the zone that I was in wasn't very interesting, and I just stopped playing. After that, I decided to not play my druid, and I decided to level up my shaman because I thought maybe I was just getting bored because I did not enjoy the druid, which was true, and I got my enhancement shaman to 110. I started running dungeons, I geared him up a little bit, but then I kind of felt bad because I have a lot of hours played on my druid, and I have a lot of reputations, I did a lot of achievements, and, you know, that druid has been through a lot. I started playing him in Cataclysm, played him through Cataclysm, Mr. Pandaria, Warlords of Drano, and I felt like I didn't really want to just leave him there for Legion, and I started playing him again, and it just killed the game for me. So, even though I can see this game can be a lot of fun, the fact that I have invested so much into my druid kind of ruined it for me. Question number 2. Which Warframe gun and melee weapon would you like to see get a primed version? Well, the thing is, a lot of the Warframes that I would personally like to see primed have already been primed, but if I were to go for one, it would probably be Oberon. I would like to see Broberon prime. Gun, that's Sybaris. I would love to get my hands on Sybaris prime, because I'm a big fan of lever action rifles, and Sybaris is basically the closest thing we have to a lever action rifle in the game. And the melee weapon? I would probably go with Lacera Prime, though even the original Lacera is still pretty damn good. Question number 3. Seeing as you said you live near some large forests, and I have heard a lot of praise for the quality of Czech firearms, that makes me wonder, do you do much or any hunting, or is it just something you are not interested in? Now, even though I am a chef, so I could actually use the animal to cook something delicious out of it, I am not interested in hunting. Right? I love walking through forests and hiking through the forest. That's awesome. I could do it for hours. I love firearms. I could shoot guns for hours. But hunting, not my kind of thing. Fishing? Yes. I could just sit down and fish for hours, but hunting, no. Question number 4. What kind of microphone do you use to record your voice, and what happened to your outro songs? Well, the microphone I'm using is actually a pretty bad microphone in itself. It sounds okay when I run it through Vegas Pro because I'm using a track compressor, I'm using a noise gate, an equalizer, and I'm using audio restoration on it. Without these 4 things, it actually sounds pretty terrible. There is a lot of noise, and it just doesn't sound particularly well. If you want to get a good microphone to record your voice with, I would probably go with a Yeti. And what happened to your outro songs? Well, the original outro wasn't the outro that I wanted to use. It was just something that I, put together while I was working on another outro that I'm still working on right now, but I can't quite get it right. You see, I didn't just want to have like a previous video thing like I used to have. What I wanted to do is to have the previous video thing, that's still gonna be there, but people ask about a lot of things when they watch a video, right? When I'm showing a weapon and I'm showing it on Rhino, they ask about the Rhino build, or they ask about the Siandana, or the colors I'm using, and I somehow want to squeeze all of that into one, outro, right? So there would be the previous video, then you would have links to the Rhino build and maybe the Sentinel build. But I also want to display the cosmetics I was using and also the colors I was using. And I'm still not able to kind of put that into one final outro screen. But once I'm able to do that, it will return. Question number 5. What is your opinion on Necros? I personally think that Necros is a really, really cool frame. The toolkit he has is really good, and he's not overly squishy, which is something I really like. I'm not a big fan of squishy frames. His first ability is great for targeted crowd control, or for when you're reloading and suddenly a butcher runs into your face. You can just full throw punch him away, and you don't have to worry about him. Terrify is great as well because it's a really, really solid crowd control. Desecrate multiplies the loot you get and basically makes it so that you don't have to worry about life support in survival missions, and Shadows of the Dead with the augment makes you incredibly tanky. So I guess what I like about him is that he is very versatile. You can use him in many different situations and be really effective. Question number 6. Do you remember how you started Warframe? Yes, I do. It was Q1 of 2013. I don't remember if it was January, February, or March. And I was watching Total Biscuit's video, and it rolled over to WTF is Warframe. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Space ninjas? Hell yeah, so I made an account and here I am 4 years later. Question number 7. What games do you play / enjoy aside from Warframe? Well, right now I am playing Guild Wars 2. I'm still playing Minecraft. I'm playing the Feed the Beast mod packs, which have like 160 mods in them. Recently, like a month or so ago, I also got into Path of Exile, so I've been playing that quite a bit. And a couple of days ago, I bought Tom Clancy's The Division, and I'm liking that as well. Because I always liked the idea of the game, but a lot of people were bashing it, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to buy it or not, but it was on sale recently on Steam, so I bought it 50% off. And even though I haven't played it an awful lot, I'm about 7 or 8 hours in at the moment, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. The gunplay feels pretty damn solid, the weapon variety seems to be pretty good as well, and the city looks amazing. Oh yeah, and recently I also bought Planet Coaster, which is kind of like Roller Coaster Tycoon on steroids. And even though I haven't played it a lot, I'm very seriously thinking about uninstalling that game and just erasing it from my memory. Because that's the kind of game that could potentially swallow my entire life. So I kind of want to get away from it because I don't have time for that. Question number 8. How do you keep playing Warframe without getting bored since you have been playing it for a long time? Well, you can go to question number 7. I play a lot of different games outside of Warframe. Right? I don't play Warframe all the time. Well, I kind of do, but I try to take as many breaks as possible without it really affecting my YouTube schedule. I did burn myself out multiple times, but all it took was just 1 or 2 days without playing Warframe. You know, maybe I did a video for a different game and I've played all kinds of different stuff while I was taking the break, and it was fine. And the way I kind of decide when to take a break is when I start getting annoyed by some random things, right? When I'm just leveling a weapon, or I'm running a night in alert and I'm just annoyed. I'm not enjoying it. I'm like, okay, it's time for a short break. I'm gonna play something else right now. And it works for me. Question number 9. Would you ever consider taking a challenge by playing a game that would take you out of your comfort zone? A game like Ark Survival Evolved. Actually, Ark Survival Evolved sounds like a pretty cool game that I would like to play one day, but I just haven't bought it yet. And the thing with me is that I play loads of different types of games. I play shooters, I play racing games, RPGs, building games, strategy games, just everything really. If the game is fun, I'm gonna play it. I've never really decided that I'm just gonna play RPGs or just gonna play shooters. I just play whatever, but if I like it, I like it. And I think that's the best way of doing things, because if you get yourself into a mindset of I'm just gonna play shooter games because they are cool and hardcore, you're gonna miss a lot of good games outside of that genre. I, for example, remember loving the ever-living crap out of Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon on PlayStation. Question number 10. Have you ever entertained the idea of uploading a video completely in Czech with English subtitles? No. When I first started making Warframe videos, or WoW videos even, I always wanted to do them in English because, well, there is obviously more people, so there is a bigger audience, and, you know, I wanted to improve my English because my English is still not perfect. My spoken English has gotten quite a bit better, but my written English, for example, is terrible. It's just goddamn awful, as you can see by the many typos I usually have in my either thumbnails, titles, or sometimes even in the description. So I just wanted to improve my English, and I just thought, hey, you know, it's a bigger audience if I speak English than if I speak Czech. Question number 11. How long does it take to make a video? Well, that depends on the type of videos. For example, Warframe reviews, which are the longest videos that I have on my channel, take a very long time. If I don't count in, you know, the testing and leveling and putting form onto the frame and generally just forming my opinion, it takes me about an hour or 2 to record all the different clips, and then about 2 to 3 hours to edit, narrate the video, then about an hour to hour and 30 minutes to process the video, and then about, 10 minutes to make the thumbnail, put it up on YouTube, make the title and stuff like that. So all in all, depends on how much I screw up during the narration or how much I screw up during recording. It can range from 4 to just say 7 hours, okay? 4 to 7 hours for a Warframe review. But as I've said already, that's without me forming my opinion and leveling the frame and testing it in the simulacrum and testing the augments and stuff like that. Question number 12. Why don't you make longer videos? A very good question indeed, and the answer is very simple. I feel like the videos are just the right length. Okay, for example, a quick look video, if you look at it, it starts off with an intro, I talk a little bit about the weapon, then I show you how to get it, then I show you the stats, then we go to build, and then we have conclusion. If the video was shorter, I feel like I would have to just simply skim over one of those things and not explain it properly, which is something I really don't like to do. And if I just wanted to inflate the video to 10 minutes so I get more ad revenue for more watch time, yay, the video would just be me rambling on about some random bollocks that you don't need to know about. So as I've said already, I don't worry about the length of the video. If it's a short video, if it's a 3-minute video, it's going to be a 3-minute video. If it's a longer video, like an 8-minute video, it's going to be an 8-minute video. But I'm not just going to artificially inflate the length of the video because, I don't know, I want more watch time. That's not what I do. And I think the fact that I don't do most of my commentary live, and I do like 99% of the commentary in Vegas Pro after I've recorded everything, helps a lot with that, because I can follow a certain structure with the videos, right? I'm not just bumbling on while walking on my ship, you know, and, oh, what did I want to do? No, I had a lovely Sunday. No. I want to talk about the stats. Okay, let's talk about the stats. I can just cut these things out, and I can just go straight to the point. The video is short, it's simple, and it does what it's supposed to do, which is explain whatever I'm trying to explain. And it also helps with the ums and ahs, which is something I have a big problem with. If you ever saw me streaming, there is a lot of ums and ahs, but unless I decide that, you know, it's an appropriate time to do an or an ah in a video, I'm just gonna cut it out. Question number 13. This is a short one. How old are you? I am 26 years old at the moment. Question number 14. What are your thoughts about the Elder Scrolls Online? Well, first of all, I already made a video about Elder Scrolls Online. It's called Let's Talk About Elder Scrolls Online, Tamriel Unlimited, or something like that. And you can find it on my channel somewhere. And if I were to kind of summarize my opinion about that, it's a great game that's, in my opinion, hindered by somewhat clunky mechanics. The combat just doesn't feel very good. Right, it's very spammy because abilities don't have a cooldown, so you can just spam whatever you want to, and it just feels unresponsive. And even if there is like a small amount of lag, switching in between weapons to keep up your buffs is just infuriating. So what I guess I should say is that I really like it when it works, but I really bloody hate it when it doesn't, and it just makes me not want to play the game. Also, the dungeons are a bit of an ass. They kind of suffer from the same thing as the dungeons in Guild Wars 2, because there is like no proper aggro mechanic, no proper threat control. All you have is 2 different taunts, and both of them are single target spells. One is melee, one is range, so you can only taunt one enemy at a time. And at least in my opinion, I think the dungeons would really benefit from a proper threat management system. I seriously don't know what it is with MMO developers nowadays, because they're just trying so hard to be different. It's like, but Holy Trinity, that's so 2004. You want organization in your group-based content? No, mate. What you want is complete and utter mayhem throughout the entire dungeon. That's what you bloody want. I just don't understand it. But anyway, moving on. Question number 15. If you were able to change one thing in Warframe, what would it be and why? Now, this may come off as a bit of a surprise, but I would change Law of Retribution into a proper raid instance. That's something I always wanted in Warframe. Proper instances where you can go with a pre-made party and not cheese it to hell. You know, just something that's doable by doing what you normally do in the game, but better. And here's the thing, I have no idea how you do that in Warframe. Okay, how do you prevent people from cheesing the hell out of it? I don't know, but I would love to see that. Question number 16. Can you tell me if you want to move to somewhere, and if so, where? Well, I don't really want to move right now. I kind of like it in Czech Republic. We have a lot of cool stuff in here, and I still haven't traveled all over the Republic, so I still haven't seen all that's there to see. But if I were to move, I would move up north, because I really like winter, I like snow, and for the past couple of years, our winters have been cold, but we didn't really get an awful lot of snow. When I was younger, we used to get a lot of snow during winter. I remember one winter where everything was covered by 1 meter layer of snow. But right now, it's just cold and muddy. That's pretty much it. We do get snow every now and then, but it usually lasts for about a week and then it melts away. Question number 17. Do you like any sports, and have you played any in high/middle school? Well, I haven't played any in high or middle school, but I do like ice hockey. That's pretty much it. Other than that, I just like snowboarding, skateboarding, and cycling. I was never big into sports. Question number 18. I actually already answered that. Where are you from? I am from Czech Republic. Question number 19. Is Rhino still your favorite Warframe? And if not, who is? Well, Rhino was never like my number 1 frame. I do play Rhino a lot, but that's mostly because he's A, really good for testing and showing weapons in videos, because I don't have to worry about anything. I just put on Iron Skin and I can, show you how the weapon performs. And I also play him a lot because I'm just sick and tired of all the crowd control that DE has given to all the different factions. In the beginning it was actually really fun to try and deal with the crowd control, but after a couple of years it's kind of getting old. Question number 20. What are your top 3 games of 2016? Well, in no particular order, I'm gonna go with Dark Souls 3, even though I only finished it once, which is weird, because I finished Dark Souls 1 multiple times, like 8+ times with different setups, and I've even finished Dark Souls 2 multiple times, which, in my opinion, wasn't as good as Dark Souls 1 or Dark Souls 3, but I guess that's just due to me working on YouTube and having far less time to actually play video games. Then I'm gonna go with Doom. That one was absolutely amazing, and I can't even tell you how happy I am that these old school shooters are coming back, because, you know, I grew up on Doom, Wolfenstein, Duke Nukem, Shadow Warrior, Blake Stone, Rise of the Triad, and games like this, Exhumed, Hex, and Heretic. These are the games I grew up with, and I love them to death, so I'm very happy that these games are coming back. And the third one is probably going to surprise a lot of people, but I'm going to go with Stardew Valley, which is basically Harvest Moon. Well, it's Harvest Moon, that's basically it. It's Harvest Moon in 2016. And there is not much to say about it, it's just an awesome game that I've sunk way too many hours into. Question number 21. What happened to MCGamerCZ Weekly? Well, here's the thing. I like the idea of having sort of a weekly show, I guess you could call it, where I sort of talk about the previous week and the upcoming week, but I also don't like making MCGamerCZ Weekly because it doesn't feel like proper content. I always feel a little bit bad whenever I release MCGamerCZ Weekly and that's it, because it just doesn't feel like a proper video. So yeah, that's what happened to it. I just feel a lot better when I release a proper video every day. Question number 22. Will the weekly endurance challenge ever return? Yes, it will. It should return either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. And I talked about why in the last MCGamerCZ, well, I guess monthly at this point. I just didn't want to start the endurance challenge while DE were still showering us with content, because when you look at it, ever since The War Within has released, they have been showering us with content very regularly, so there was always something to do. And the weekly endurance challenge was sort of supposed to give people something to do, right? So I felt like since there is a lot to do now, people wouldn't really do the endurance challenge. But as I've said already, it is coming back this week. Question number 23. How do you feel about the Infested Salvage mission? The rewards you can get are pretty good in terms of relics, and at least to me, it's a lot faster soloing that mission over Hydron for new relics, but I don't know. Yes, the new Infested Salvage mission is pretty good when it comes to relic, but it's also pretty good when it comes to XP. If you stand so that you share affinity with all your party members and you all know how to play the mission properly, you're gonna get a lot of XP and you can actually get through the mission pretty damn fast. And I don't think it's gonna take too long before we see people run that mission a lot more once they kind of understand how it works and how to keep all 3 of the points running at any given time. Because once you get that down and you can blast through the enemies, the mission is pretty good. Question number 24. What got you into video games? My dad did. He also got me into heavy metal. And I still remember when I was younger, we would listen to like Iron Maiden, Metallica, AC/DC, Accept, and, you know, bands like that. And, you know, he would play the video game, whether it be Doom, Tomb Raider, Wolfenstein, I remember the old Indiana Jones games. He used to play that as well. I would just sit right by him and I would watch him play, and then I eventually started playing myself. Question number 25. Do you think Warframe will ever die? And if it does, what will you do? Well, I don't think Warframe is gonna be here forever, obviously, but I also don't see it dying anytime soon. Because right now, I don't think that anything can happen that would straight up kill Warframe. It would have to be something really, really bad would have to happen, or the devs would have to screw up monstrously. And I don't see any of those two things happening right now. But if it did happen right now, I would just start making videos about different games that I like playing. And while yes, the interest would definitely not be as high as it is with my Warframe videos, I think some people would still watch them based on my Let's Talk About insert random game series. That one's doing pretty well. But if people completely abandoned me and I couldn't do YouTube full time, I would at first get a part-time job to go together with YouTube. And if that didn't work out, I would just get a normal job again. And don't get me wrong, it would suck a lot, and I would hate myself for the rest of my life for losing this dream job that I have right now, but I don't think it would be as bad. I, at the end of the day, am a trained chef, and I do have a driver's license for a forklift, so I can be a chef or I can work in a warehouse. Question number 26. What do you use to record/edit your videos? For recording, I use NVIDIA Shadowplay, and for editing, I use Vegas Pro. NVIDIA Shadowplay is really good because the quality of the video is really high, but the file size isn't too big. A 10-minute video usually has around 3.5 gigabytes, which is really good, especially when compared to something like DxStory or Fraps. It also doesn't hit the performance as hard as something like DxStory or Fraps. I usually only lose like 2, 3, maybe 5 frames at max, but obviously the video quality isn't as good as it is with something like DxStory or Fraps, which is not a problem because on YouTube videos that run at 1080p and 60 frames per second, the bitrate is pretty low for them, so no matter how high quality the video is, YouTube is just gonna lower it. And Vegas Pro is good, however, it does tend to crash during heavy video edits. If I'm editing a video and I'm overlaying like 4, 5, or maybe sometimes even 6 things on top of each other, which is not uncommon for me, it does tend to crash quite a bit. But even with the occasional crash, it's still the best video editing software that I've worked with thus far. It's pretty simple and it has a lot of options for you, so if you have the imagination, you can just go wild. And the final question for today, because I'm already starting to feel my voice crumbling again, question number 27, where do you go to level your weapons? And most of the time, I go to Sedna and I do Hydron, which is a defense mission with a really small tile set. If your party isn't full of leeches, it can be done very quickly, and if you have a booster, you can max a weapon in 10 waves. Though I only do Hydron if it's controlled by the Grenade, I don't like doing it when Corpus take over. And if that happens, I either go to Akkad on Ares, which is a Dark Sector defense mission, and a lot of people run that now as well because it's really good for farming credits with Secura Lecta, or I do Stifla on Lua, which is basically the same thing but just with a bigger tile set, or I just go and solo things like I do right here. In this video, you can see me leveling the Tiburon. And I think I'm going to do one more question because this one is pretty short, so question number 28, where do you farm focus? And the answer for that is pretty simple, I don't anymore. Okay, I farmed it a little bit in the beginning. I unlocked the basic stuff in the generic focus school, so energy overflow. So when I use my focus ability, I get ridiculous energy regen. And that's kind of all you need from the focus school, really. The other nodes are nice to have, but you don't really need them. And I feel a lot of the focus schools are like this, right? With Zenuric, you have energy overflow. With Naramon, you have shadow step. And while having the other ones can be nice sometimes, you don't really need them. So I just put a bunch of random lenses on different parts that I have, and I just play the game and sort of acquire focus as I play. But if you really want to farm focus, you can just go onto Hydron on Sedna, Akkad on Ares, or Stifla on Lua. Basically, any mission that gives you a lot of XP is going to give you a lot of focus. And that's it for the 2016 Q&A. So I hope you enjoyed the Q&A. I thank you very much for, listening this time around, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.